It's joking. There's nothing wrong with the sound. Anyway, this is Xenoxis och PF Class time, and this is Access Up Slayers. This is Xenoxis, and this is Xenoxis show for the 31st of March 2017. This is part. Found this is gonna be part 5. Damn, this is gonna be part 5. Mixing in the Swedish. So let's go with all the ones that are dragons. I said it, who are dragon decks are gonna be possible, and then this is probably the only dragon they have introduced. If that is the case, I apologize. Astounding! I'm sorry. Or like there's a video when there's like Hunter versus something else, like Hunter versus Troll, and it's like well played, and then he tries to say, and there's another video when he tries to say sorry, but then of course they remove that because people got triggered by that, and then it's instead astounding, you know. Okay, so the primordial drake is a dragon. Let's see, are there any other more dragons? But I think you have to almost kind of read the spell cards also, so there's not a spell card that summons a dragon, because, you know, that could be a thing, you know. And yes, there have been a shit ton of elementals revealed, by the way. And some are really insanely good for actually their cost and stuff like that. Meteor, I find that to be rather insane for a mage spell. It's basically a control mage spell, deal 15 damage to a minion and 3 damage to adjacent ones. That's really insane, you know. But it will also means that mages will be the most frosting to fight against. Like, you know, like they did a whole thing of, yeah, let's make it so that all the classes have an insane quest reward, but the mages are just gonna be able to kill your quest reward with this spell. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's the thing I hate it when they do. Like, you know, like that's the worst feeling in Hearthstone. Like, you know, you played all of this set up for this amazing combo, and then you just get hexed, polymorphed or whatever, and then you get the meteor to your face, and then you're like, you know, because I feel it bullshit sometimes. Sometimes I just definitely think almost that it feels like some people are like somehow hacking the cards they have in the hand or whatever, you know. I don't know if there actually exist Hearthstone sheets, but sometimes it just feel like, how the fuck can every mage you always encounter always have Flame Strike at 7 mana? Like, sometimes they don't even have it in the opening hands. Sometimes they just always manage to have it drawn by turn 7, and that just feels like the 100% mages are always gonna at turn 7 have Flame Strike to play, and that just feels like that shouldn't statistically be possible. A mage shouldn't always have a Flame Strike at turn 7. That, or like, that cannot possibly be a thing, because the thing is, like, if they don't start with Flame Strike in their opening hand, they should have a 1 in 30 chance to draw it, like, or not. They won't have 30 cards left once they, like, if they start with 3 cards at the start, they have like a 1 in 27 chance to draw it the first turn. Of course, by turn 7 they will have a, what is it, 27, 26, 25, wait, 30, 29, 28, 27, so they will have 27 on the first turn to draw it, and then we take, oops, I did it wrong, 27 minus 7 basically. So 7 turns later they still only have a 1 in 20 chance to draw the Flame Strike. But then every mage, every mage that I've encountered, by turn 7 if I have a board up, it's always Flame Strike. Always Flame Strike. And then it's just like, how the fuck is that possible? Like, you could play like 20 mages in a row and every mage would have a turn 7 have a Flame Strike. And I just feel like that statistically shouldn't be possible, but somehow it is possible. It's totally possible. And it's just like, am I just extremely unlucky, you know? Like, I also had an arena run because I wanted to try arena for once, you know. I've only played maybe 2 other arena runs, and the highest I have ever gotten in wins since 2, and I don't consider myself bad in arena because I know what cards are good and stuff like that, but sometimes you just run into insane decks. And being someone who has only ever won 2 games in arena, like, the opponents I go up against is just like, it's not bad opponents either. I just go up against like extremely good play. Or the thing is, like, I went up against, like, all the decks I played were insane, like, aggro decks, which just out-tempoed my deck. My deck had a lot of, like, really valuable cards, but every opponent were just able to, each turn they were able to, the last opponent I faced was basically most frustrating. Like, it was a shaman, and that shaman had, every turn, he had a spell to be able to kill my minion, and then he was also able to play a minion. So spell, minion, spell, minion, spell, minion, spell, minion. I never had like an, I think the shaman had like 30 health left at the end of the game, and it was just insane. And then there was another guy who played like 6 or 7 legendaries in one game in arena without Prince Malkisar. What? And it's just like, I don't win much in arena, so why the fuck am I getting this treatment? You know, like, why the fuck am I having like the worst luck ever? And sometimes I feel that's too in World of Warcraft also, that sometimes I just like, and it's just like, that's what we do to Trump support. It's like people who support Trump in World of Warcraft, you know, because probably Blizzard developers, so probably liberal scum, you know, and stuff that, you know. Fucking liberal scum, yeah, man, you know, like, I don't hate normal liberals. It's the extreme liberals, you know, the ones for, like, immigrants can do nothing wrong, you know, because they escape from war-torn countries. Oh, they're so poor, it's so sad of them. Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, like, those liberals that think that, you know, like, they think the immigrants that escape from war-torn countries are immigrants that are poor, that they don't have a lot of money, but these immigrants are actually, you could consider them being actual rich individuals. Because the ones that actually need help to escape from the war-torn countries, those stay behind. The ones that escape are the ones with a lot of money because they pay criminals to smuggle them out of the war-torn countries. That's how they get out. So the people who get out is the people who don't need to get out. And those are the people you will see driving expensive cars and having an iPhone directly when they arrive at the country. You will see them have an iPhone. And then they come to Sweden. And then they get free money basically, because that's how the immigrant system works here, because immigrants from certain countries that come in might be poor, and then they come here and come to Germany because here we pay them. They basically live off the welfare. They don't need to get a job because they have a lot of money, and then they get free money basically. Like, why would the fuck would they want to get a job, you know? And you might say, oh, but some immigrants want to get a job. Yeah, some of them, there are good immigrants. I definitely don't think that all immigration is bad, but Sweden has been destroyed by immigration. And of course, most Swedish people, the liberals here in Sweden, just think that Sweden is all fine and there's nothing wrong with Sweden, and they call Donald Trump a liar, you know. Donald Trump is not even knowing exactly how bad it is in Sweden. It's worse than what he thinks it is. It's actually way worse in Sweden. Like, it's crazy. You can compare certain parts of Sweden to Afghanistan. It's just as much violence, just as much terrorist attacks and shit. Because sure, it's not like explosions and stuff there, but they're basically gangs down in Malmö. It's pretty common, like each week there are several grenade attacks. There are also just people throwing grenades in other people's apartments or houses. Yeah, people throwing grenades through windows. Yeah. Well, does that sound normal to you? Is that something that happened in the States? Like, people randomly throw grenades inside people's apartments and people's houses, yeah? That's something they do in Sweden. Oh, but that is never covered on television. That's not covered on television, because the thing is that liberal, you know, like now liberals are trying to make it so that the word liberal kook is actually a good word. But I think that liberals don't understand. Liberals are actually subhumans. They're not even worth the point of a single human. They're maybe worth maybe 1/10 of a normal human, a liberal, because they just live in their own fantasy world. They just think everything is good, everything is fine, we should be helping everyone, and they're like, they are the most intolerant people ever, the liberals. They're just so bad. They're so bad. And then they are the ones calling stuff fake news. You want to know where fake news come from? Not Donald Trump. The fake news was something created by the liberals, and it was created because the liberals always want to be right. Liberals will always post statistics, and there are certain sites that have sadly become super mega liberal, and they try to be political neutral, but something like MMO champion. Although I like the site, sometimes there are liberal cook threads, as I like to call them, where whenever something bad is posted about immigration, then it's called fake news. Because the sites that they link or sites that according to them are fake news. But here's the thing, like, and they use the logic that if a lot of trustworthy sites report on the same thing, then that's true. But if a few places are reporting on it and it's all the same fake site, then it's untrue. And that's the thing, like, alternative media is the only way to find out the truth in other countries, because the liberal controls the rest of the media. The liberals control the media, basically, pretty much. And the liberals will never post, or the liberals will never take up anything bad about immigration, Muslims doing bad shit. They will never take up that. Heck, in the United States of America, someone posted a thread on MMO Champion, which thankfully someone proved wrong, because someone proved the stat that Mexicans and Latinos aren't doing the majority of the crime in the United States. The majority of the people are white people. But then someone posted some mugshots of these so-called white people committing the crimes. And then you see San Jose something. And then the majority of the mugshots were Latinos. But then why is the statistic wrong? Why is it showing the majority of criminals are like white, like compared to blacks and Asians? But then guess what? The Latinos are identified as the people from Mexico and the people from Latino countries in the Americas that commit crime. White male, even ones who are slightly black or slightly, like colored from Latino countries. White male. That's what they get identified. So the criminal statistic gets completely skewed. Like there's a section for black people who commit crime. There's a section for Asian people, but there's no individual section for Latinos, because the liberals don't wanna show you that the majority of crimes are actually done by the Mexicans. So call Donald Trump racist all you want, but it's the truth. The Mexicans and the people like that in the United States are the ones that are committing the majority of rape crimes and really fucking bad stuff. But the statistic is trying to lie about it. Just like here in Sweden, they never take up when immigrants commit bad stuff and stuff that you have to go to alternative media sites like Ofcourse to find out the truth. And that's because the liberal scum controls the media here. And that's the way it works. Like the liberals only want to believe in their own stuff, their own trusted news site. And that's what MMO Champion is turning into. You're either a liberal scum or you're an extreme right, and that's how it is nowadays in today's world. You cannot be in the middle. You cannot be, And that's really sad. Like, I'm all normally for helping people, but when you can see how bad the situation has turned out here in Sweden, like, we cut down on everything. We cut down basically on our hospitals, on our schools, on our education, on everything. And guess where all the money goes? To take in as many immigrants as possible. That's the whole goal with Sweden. That's the whole goal of every liberal country. That's our goal. And that's the reason the European Union was created in the first place. When it was started way back before it was even called the European Union, the whole goal has always been to take in as many immigrants as possible. That's the whole goal of it, And then Canada is doing the same thing. Like, Canada is being like, yeah, we're really nice to all immigrants and stuff that, And then you have someone like a total imbecile like Tennessee, which I'm pretty certain is a professional troll, because she tries to be a feminazi and she tries to be a extreme liberal. But sometimes she's saying things that is counteractive to what she tries to be. Or if it's a he even. But yeah, it's like, it's really weird, like, people need to wake up, like the liberals are basically destroying the world. Like, if you're a liberal, you're basically, or the extreme liberals are basically supporting terrorism. That's just what they're doing, because a lot of them try to hide, like, Muslim immigrants and stuff that. And so not all the Muslim immigrants are bad, but a lot of them are. And a lot of them are sleepers, and a lot of them are basically ISIS supporters. And they're just living in these countries, just waiting to strike, basically, pretty much. And Sweden is hosting so many terrorists. There are so many ISIS supporters who live here in Sweden who can at any point just be called out. And some of them has even gone and fought for ISIS. And then when they come back to Sweden, they face no jail time or anything. Yeah, that's great. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this time. I hope you really all will enjoy these clips. I will start uploading these clips probably during the weekend or next week. We will see. But anyway, I'll see you all next time.